Oh, YouTubers, this is fantastic. This bench is so rigid and solid. Wow, imagination is driving me nuts on the possibilities of the things that we could do with this bench now. Things that radios we can repair, restore. Anyway, Carl asked about putting a load across the 5-volt rail on here. Now, the Variac is on full, which is 250 volts, because that's what my mains is here in the UK at this property. And I don't know if it's going to do it this time, but when I switched it on for the first time, this light came on again. Oh no, you might be saying. But it went out and it stayed out. I just turned it on there again and it came on very dimly and went out, but it came on a lot brighter than that before. So, considering that all the things that we have done with this, I'm going to have to hold the camera because I haven't got, I'm not set up properly yet, as it were. So, I don't know, I need 2 pairs of hands for this. Alright, I know what I can do. So what we're going to do is create a dead short, testing to see whether the facilities in this power supply is going to do what it's supposed to do, what it was designed to do when there's a dead short. So I've got the clip open over the banana plug, and there we are, shorting it, not shorting it. It's now shorted, not shorted. So I take that is working the way it's supposed to work. And to be honest with you, it probably was working like that before. But remember, this red light stayed on very brightly, like this one, which is the power LED. At least it does go out, so I'm not going to be messing on any more with this. As far as I'm concerned, it is behaving the way that I think that will be useful to me, and I'm still going to be able to use this power supply. Maybe replacing all the electrifics, but I've replaced 3 of them, and each time as I have posted videos about, each time I've replaced a component, there has been a difference. Lessons to be learned here. How far do you actually go with a repair when things are working? Don't know how sensitive that is. Now I know that when this unit was brand new, that it wouldn't behave the way it's been behaving, but you know, it's working. As I say, there's a dead short there. I've shorted out dead. We haven't got any smoke, and it's performing the way it was designed to. Excuse me. Okie dokie. I'll add this on to something else as we go along with this bench. I just wanted to do that for Carl. You can't get much of a load than a dead short. If you want me to try anything else, please feel free to ask, because you know, I will if it's a valid comment, I will try it. Okay, but I am dead impressed with this bench. This is it is solid. I mean, it is solid. I mean, I reckon I could stand up on this. And none of them screws have gone through to the other side. I think they were too short. I think I could have done with another 1/4 of an inch longer on the screws. But it's enough. I'll put a load of them in. I can put extra ones in if I want. It's easy now. Obviously not as easy once you get it all loaded up with stuff. Yeah. I'm over the moon with this. So all we've got to do is finish repairing the case, excuse me, finish repairing the case, and I think we'll be away. By the way, this is the original chip, which I stuffed in the foam that the new one came in. We'll just keep things the way they are, I think. And look at all this space. I mean, I'm just going to turn this off and just connect these. Now, if this is pushed back to there, right, which is about where it was originally on the old bench, look how much depth we've got. Hey, look at this, look at all this space. Can easily get a mains radio chassis on here, no problem at all. This is fantastic. Okie dokie. I'll add this onto some other bits and pieces, okay? I'm going to call it bits and pieces, as you think, odds and ends or whatever. Okay, catch you later for the next segment. Right, the other day we left this thing on for hours, virtually a whole day switched on. Alright, so what we did was we turned it on just to see what it would do. Now it's alright. I have been at work all day. I just come home. I'm going to try this thing out. Variac is on. See if this light comes on stage. I'll switch this on now. Switched it on. Still out. Stays out. Oh, that's good news. Brilliant. That is fantastic. I'm over the moon with that. I'll see you later. Right, final test. I've just turned the Variac on. This was turned on yesterday. This is the first time this has been turned on today, and it's about 11:30. So we're just going to turn this on and see if our light comes on. Nope. So I reckon that's a wrap on the power supply. All we've got to do is finish repairing the case. Right, I've got bits and pieces on this, so this is going to be a bits and pieces video. Just turn all this off. I've been sorting out about these leads. I'm going to make another one of each colour. So we've got four of each colour for hooking up. I'm then going to make shorter ones, like shorter leads for like small stuff. I've cut off the wire that I soldered these to because they was too thin. There's a tiny little bit there, as you can see, the thicknesses. Silly idea really, wrong kind of wire anyway. So we will be utilising those. The next thing I thought I'd show you is just a bit of an idea of what I'm thinking about as far as what we're going to use for our bench power points. Now I've already ordered a twin socket American voltage socket to wire in. So here's these are things I just got as ideas. I got these ages ago. Probably opened it up the wrong way. There's one there. That's a voltmeter. I like the look of that. This goes up to 300 volts. So it'll be up to about there somewhere for 250 possibly. So there's the 200 volts. That will go on the Variac. What's this? What's in this one? I've got various meters and things. Just when I was thinking about, I've been thinking about this for a long time. There was an amp meter. This goes up to 20 amps. no good for what we need for the bench, because we're not going to have anything that's going to go up to 20 amps. So this will come in for other things. I've got other ideas what we can use for this. For example, if you're got something you don't really know how many amps it's going to go up to, and you don't really want to put your multimeter on it, which only goes up to 10 amps, this goes up to 20 amps. So I've seen someone use that idea for televisions and things. I won't be doing televisions, but you know, like, might come in for radios and things, I don't know. No good for this bench though, too higher amperage. There's some light bulbs. I'm just going to tip the bag out. I've got a bag on the floor, I'll just go and get that. So these are some of the things I've got together which I might be using for my bench. Here's another amp meter, goes up to 5 amps. I don't think I'll be needing anything that goes up to 5 amps, even though my isolation transformers have got to 5 amps. But here's something a bit more near the mark. This is an amp meter, goes up to 2 amps. That's a bit more like it. So we've got more, you can see what's more is going on with the needle because it's a lower amperage. And this is one that I'll be definitely using. It's the 250 voltmeter. That's what we're going to end up with. So we are going to be using those two. And I might hook in this one and set it up with switches so we can turn one amp meter off and turn the other one on, maybe. Don't know. Indicator lights, green, red and amber, neon, so we can hook them straight into the mains. You haven't got to worry about cutting voltage down for LEDs and stuff. We can just bung these in and they'll be easy to use. This is something I thought of. It's a trip fuse, 2 amps. You know, something I was thinking about. I've got various fuses and fuse holders and stuff. Fuses. Don't quite know if I'm going to use anything like that. Don't know. So that's generally what we were thinking of so far, that is. I've got 2 voltmeters the same, believe it or not. This style, which is like an old-fashioned sort of style, came from China of all places. So nearly everything comes from China these days. I think that one there, the 20 amp, that was the first one I got. No idea what I was thinking about when I got that. I'm not going to, if I have anything that's going to be using anywhere near 20 amps, something's wrong somewhere, isn't it? You don't want to be going anywhere near 20 amps at all. So what it'll be is when I finally get all my bits and pieces together, is we're going to see how it all works by hooking it all up with these hook up leads, because I don't quite know how it's all going to work. Don't know how it's all going to come together, so that I can see how it comes together and then see it actually working. That's upside down. See it actually working before we start wiring it all in. There's no circuit diagram. It's just put it together as you see it. Now the other thing is, there's I've got a bag of what these goes into, which I'll be wiring into my workbench as well. They're basically what's used here. These things, this sort of thing. Not quite the same, but similar, where you can push your banana plugs in. I've got a load of those somewhere. I'll be using that as well. So this is what I'm thinking. And when I saw Doug's video, the last one he did, about the wiring of his bench and stuff and doing the alterations and that, it really did give me some ideas. good ideas. So that's what we're going to do. We'll wire everything up one day, test it all out, see how it all works. We may even hook it up to a radio just to see how it performs and see if we've got the right amperages and stuff. So I just thought I'd show you what I was thinking. Here's excuse me, some books I found. Very, very basic, but goes into more detail. Make electronics. Really, really simple stuff to start off with. But it will fill in some of the missing gaps I have. I kind of know what I don't know, if that makes any sense. There was 2 books. This was the second one in the series. Whoops. Experiments and things, you know. It's got various information in, and there's a load on there on logic gates. I'm very interested in the logic gates. I'm dying to get stuck into logic gates because they're so much fun. So many things you can do with logic gates. And I have a ton of them here. All of them, all the different gates. I've got tons of them here. I could blow one up every 5 minutes and still have loads. Not that I'm going to want to try and do that. That'd be silly. So yeah, I like playing with ICs. See, there's a 4-bit decoder chip. I've got processors here as well. I've got the processor that was in the Altair 8080. I've got processors that was in the Apple II. Not the ones, the same, not the ones that are actually used by Apple. These are what was available. I also have 6502 processors of various different generations. Really interested in that kind of stuff. So it's all good fun. It's all good fun. You know. So anyway, I'm going to post this. I think we've got enough here for a video instead of waffling on. I know the bench looks a bit untied at the moment because we're just coming up with ideas and things that we want to do. But there's going to be a long piece of wood, the same piece of wood, the offcut to this bench is going to go along the back, and we're going to have some of it going down the sides, left and right. And it's going to be enough for me to be able to screw things to. This is what I got from Doug's wiring of his bench. He had like boxes with things in wired together. I kind of like the idea of that. I might come up with my own version of it. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I kind of like that, Doug, when you see this video. I like the way you got that wired up. That will suit me champion. That really will. So we've got a load of spare banana plugs. They are kind of expensive, but oh, one other thing before we go. When I wire this up, whichever way it ends up, I want to make it so that it can be pulled apart, and things are going to be joined together with sockets and plugs of some kind or another. I don't quite know how that's going to work out because I haven't got any like sockets and plugs and things, but it means utilising what you have and what you can get your hands on, you know, and joining things together. So that there's only one way it can go together, because I know what's going to happen once you've got it all together, and then maybe several years down the line something happens, you have to move, or I get flooded again and it all has to be pulled apart. Pulling it apart is one thing, but trying to get it back the way you had it, when you might not have seen it back together for many months because you've been flooded or something, or something's happened, it never ever goes back the second time quite the way you had it. See what I mean? So rather than box myself into a corner, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try and make it so that it'll come apart. I'll build it in sections or somehow. I don't quite know how that's going to work. I need to see things in practice before I can actually make decisions on how it's going to look. Right, okie dokie, I'm going to sign off here. Wish you all the best. This is going to be a bits and bobs video for me. Take care, see you later, bye.